So this is my spacesuit, and it's very much what I had in mind. It has a mechanical and bio kind of both feelings, and that's what I wanted. I wanted a kind of biomechanical suit for this guy. I'm going to bring it into Mudbox and add some details, including a very fine texture like cloth, like canvas maybe, maybe some detailing on the knees and elbows to make it look as if they are specially designed to bend in an otherwise rigid structure. The gloves and boots, and maybe around the neck. Anything like mechanical, I will probably model in Maya. I'll bring back and model in Maya. And that may also go back through Mudbox just to add paint jobs. But I'm just going to do this one step at a time, and I'm done with the suit in Maya for now. So I'm going to import it or send it to Mudbox. But before I do, it might be worth looking at its UVs. And in fact, I'm going to make changes to these UVs, but I don't want to change this version, so I'm going to increment and save. So I want to see the UVs. That's up here. If I'm in the modeling window, I can just hit the UV editor, and I get this editor with a. I want to be able to lock it in on the side, and I think I can, but it doesn't seem to want to do that. I want to lock it in on the side. I think I can. I have to maybe get rid of these. Nope. The only thing I can see is it maybe wants to go. Yeah, okay. There it is on the side. So maybe it isn't the sides. Maybe it's the upper side. Maybe that's what I've been doing wrong. So here I've got my UV editor, and those are my UVs, and that is a problem. Those aren't particularly good UVs. The idea here, this has been a cube unwrapped. If I had a cube sitting right here, and I unwrapped all the sides, my left side would fall down this way, the right side would fall down this way. The top, which had been here, would have unfold all the way out to here. I guess actually the front would unfold all the way out to here. This would be the top. This would be the back, and this would be the bottom of the cube, something like that. And if you recall, we started with a cube, and so that's why it looks like this. But I can demonstrate that this is not a good UV by clicking in the UV editor this little checkerboard. What that does is it adds a checkerboard to the model as the UVs are showing. Because this UV map is how we would add, for instance, a photographic texture. And if we added a photographic texture, say of scratched up metal or rubber surface or something, it would look good where there are squares, and it would look less good where those squares have become rectangles. And on the arm here, where they are just long pinstripes, it would be completely distorted. And if you've ever added a photographic texture to a model that you made, that you modeled yourself, and saw that some areas looked really weird and others looked fine, it's because of this exact thing. We extruded the legs and arms, and so there were no real UVs for those parts, so they're just stretched out. So I'm going to delete these UVs and create new ones. In my UV view, I can hit edit, delete. Those are gone. If I click the object, no UVs. The UVs have to fit into this square. I don't think that's true for all applications, but for Mudbox it is. So I'm going to create some new UVs, and then I'll make sure they fit in this square. So what I want to do is create new UVs, and then cut them up and unwrap them, flatten them, so that, for instance, maybe the front of his body could be one shape, and the front of his upper body, and the back of his upper body, etc. So let's create some UVs that we can then unwrap, cut up and unwrap. So that's under Create. I'm going to change this real quick, just so we'll recognize what's happened here. Under Create, I'm going to choose Camera Based. So there are UVs, but they are based on this 3D view. And so, for instance, the back is on the other side here, and that's not good for us. So we're going to need to chop this up using a Cut UV tool, and then we'll unwrap or flatten the resulting pieces. So a good place for us to cut might be where there's going to be a seam. See this? You can see that this is good. Actually, this looks great. But the reason it looks great is because we just created it from the camera view, and this is represented here. But if we have, if we're going to think about painting on this, we can't paint the front of the back exactly the same, for instance. So we do need to cut this apart. So I think the belt line is a good place to cut this up. So I'm going to go in the 3D view. I'll go to Edge Mode, and I'll pick an edge and double click it. I get this orange line that I'm just going to look and see if it, maybe it goes down to the butt crack or something. But no, that looks pretty good. It could be higher, could be lower. It depends on where I want. I think I might want to put a belt. In fact, maybe I will drop it down by just even one. And you see that it appears here as well. I need to cut it first, cut at this line. And so in the UV editor, you should see on the side here, this is UV Toolkit, which is part of the editor. If you don't see the toolkit, open it probably in under UV here. But I think it defaults now to opening with the UV editor. And I'm going to drop down, cut and sew. And I'll cut, and it'll cut along that line I've chosen. And then, back in my 3D view, I'll right click on it and choose UV and UV shell. I want to just do this again. Oh, I guess it already did it. But it's right click, UV, and then I get two choices, and I want to choose the bottom one there. So now you can see I can select the top or the bottom, and I could actually move this if I wanted to, but I don't want to yet. I want to cut another seam that goes right around the body. I could do it right here on the arm. I'm getting back into face view, edge view, excuse me. And I'll just look at this to be sure, and it goes all the way down that orange line down to the fingertips. It goes up the arm, down the body, you see here, right down the leg. And this is a good place for a seam. Like this is where the seam of my blue jeans is. So if there's going to be any kind of picture there that might have a seam, that's a good place for it. So I'll do the same exact thing. I'll cut, and then right click, UV shell. This is simple, but not entirely intuitive, yeah? Over here, I'll choose these legs, and I'll just pull them out here. These legs, I'll pull them away. There's two tops now, because I cut it in half, top to bottom, and I cut it in half, side to side. But I still have to unwrap these. They're still dimensional. They're still camera view things. They need to be flattened. So that's here under Unfold. And so that's what they should look like. This is the toe of the boot. So you can see there's this rounded with lots of extra polygons there. The bottom backs of the pants here, unfold. The tops, unfold, and unfold. And then they all have to fit in this little square. So there's two considerations. I can move these around. They also cannot overlap. If I painted this piece, then wherever it overlaps with this would have identical paint. So there's a couple of different things we have to think about, and that is how to best organize these into a square, and how best to fit them. We're going to have to scale them down probably, but we can move them, we can rotate them. I've done this now several times, and each time I've done it a little bit differently, just trying to get see what's optimal for this kind of work. No overlaps is really key. Maybe this one should just rotate and move up a bit. Oh, no, I have some overlap here. I thought I was doing better than I am. You know what? Maybe I can get these two and rotate them. Same problem, isn't it? Okay. I guess I'll move. I'll change the position of these two. Maybe that'll help. So maybe that's not bad. I'm just trying to get them all in as close as I can get to this size of this square without any overlaps. I just want to make sure that I don't even really want these to touch, just because I can't be, I can't be certain that there's no overlap. And then I can choose them all, and that was click and drag a box, or I can hit one and then shift click so that they're all selected, and hit R and choose this yellow box and just squeeze them down. I'll try rotating them a bit. Into the diagonal, that may be helpful, just to get them all fitting in with the least amount of scaling. I don't really know how bad scaling is to these, but so that looks like that will do it. I could actually scale up just slightly. Over here I have a little more space. So again, everything is inside that tile is what it wants to be called. Okay, I think that's good. And now let's look over here. All I really care about, I think, are these squares. Now, if I was going to try to use a photographic texture on these, I might line them up more normally. I might rotate them up so they're both like upright, because like the pants here and the pants here are in two different orientations, and so if I wanted like brick for some reason, brick texture, I would put a brick picture here, and then I'd have all these different kind of angles of brick. As you can see, the squares here, the black and white squares here. But I'm going to paint on this, so I think this will work for me. So I'm going to do, what did I call this? 003. I'll do a save here. And I don't need to see this texture anymore, so that's here. And in fact, I don't really need this anymore. I'll pull it out of the way. I'll go into object mode. Nothing's changed here, but we saw the square black and white shapes. And if you tried to send this to Mudbox without doing all these steps, you will probably get an error message. And like I say, even if you didn't, you should look at the view with checkerboard just to see if you're going to end up with distortions. So I'm done with that part. Now I just go File, Send to Mudbox. I think send a new scene. We'll see what happens. I might be getting an error. No. I don't think that this I think that this doesn't work for me very well. I think what's better for me is to open Mudbox and have an open project to send it to. I've had trouble with trying to send it to a new project. So now I have an open project. I don't know if I need to save it first or not. Well, let's see if I can't send this. Oops. Send this to File. Send to Mudbox. Send currency. There we go. Now it looks just like it looked in my Maya. It's a different material, and I'm familiar with using Mudbox with a certain kind of material. So if I want to, I can choose Material Presets, and this one right here is the default, and that's the color and material that I started with when I started with the head. I will talk about what I'm going to do next, but I'm not going to show any of it yet. I'm going to build up a little bit the knees. I'm going to put a lot of detail on the boots and the gloves, and on the places where they join the body. On the, did I say knees and elbows? Knees and elbows. So I want this to look like and feel like a kind of hard, semi-plastic, maybe quasi-biological surface. That's hard and stiff, except at the joints where it will bend. So I want a different texture and feel at the joints. I want the gloves to feel like they had to be screwed on or locked on to the suit. Same with the boots. I'll probably create knee pads and elbow pads. I might do some. I might create a belt or a sash or even a gun holster. So I will add some more geometry to this besides adding new polygons. We can see here, view, mesh. Oh no, where is it? No, there's the UVs that we created. I don't remember now how to get the polygons to display here. Display. Here we go. Wireframe. There we go. So I will add new. I will bulk up some areas, adding using wax, adding new wax, new clay basically, and then I'll, but not too much. And when I have the final normal maps, I will apply them probably not to the 0 level. This is my 0 level, but I will apply them to a higher level of polygons, just because I will have more geometry. I'll create a little bit of extra geometry, but not too much. And that's my. Looks strange. Looks like I'm seeing through it with those meshes, but I don't have to, I guess. I do believe this will work. Okay, so I can reduce mesh, but I don't want to do that. I don't know what would happen. I might try it later. Display, excuse me. Wireframe, get rid of that. Okay, so that's it for now. The main thing is, if you've ever created a model and applied photographic textures and wondered why they were distorting, is because you had distorted UVs, and this is a way to change them. It might be worth noting that you could do things like cut off the whole arm, and then maybe not cut it in half like this does, but just cut it down one seam down here to the fingertips maybe, and flatten that, and then you'd have 2 of those because this would mirror. You can cut it up in different ways depending on what your end result is going to look like, and also just what makes good sense for your project. So there are different ways to cut this thing up, but I think this will work for us, and it's the simplest one. I cut it into 4 parts.